Hello everyone and welcome back to Clues by Sam. We have an evil one today. Let's see what's in store for us. If you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily logic puzzle game where you have 20 people on a board who may be criminals or innocents and they give you clues to help you figure out who is what. And it changes in difficulty every day. So today, last day of the week, we have an evil one. If you want to play before you watch, there's a link in the description, but if you just want to follow along, we can start right away. We have Ben telling us that Gary and Isaac have 3 innocent neighbors in common. Well, Gary and Isaac are here, and they have 3 neighbors in common total, so all of them have to be innocent. And it's interesting that lately most openings involve multiple people being opened at once. So Deborah, we have 3 new clues here. Deborah tells us that Hank and Zoe have an equal number of criminal neighbors. And Hank is right here. Zoe has 3 neighbors total. And Hank has 8 neighbors total. So far, Hank has 2 innocent neighbors. Zoe has none of any type. But Zoe could have 3 criminal neighbors. That's totally possible. And Hank could have 3 criminal neighbors among the ones that he has left. So that clue doesn't help us at the moment. So let's go for Hank's. There's an odd number of criminals neighboring Zena. Zena is right beside Zoe. And she has 5 neighbors total. She could have 5 criminal neighbors, 3 criminal neighbors, or just 1. We don't know yet, so that clue also doesn't help us at the moment. Let's go for Mary's. Only one of the 2 innocents neighboring Vera is on the edges. Okay, so Vera is right here, and she has 3 neighbors total as well. 2 of them are on the edges, but only one of them is an innocent. So we know that either Paula or Wally are an innocent, the other one's a criminal. But she has to have 2 innocent neighbors, so Rob can only be the second one. And now Rob tells us that Tom is one of 2 criminals in row 4. So Tom and Rob both are in row 4. One of each is a criminal and the other one an innocent. And we know that either Paula or Salil is the second criminal in that row. So that also tells us that if Paula is a criminal, both Wally and Salil are innocents. And if Paula is an innocent, both Wally and Salil are criminals. And that doesn't break Zena, because Zena could have 2 criminal neighbors here. With Tom, that would be an odd number if Zoe is an innocent. So nothing else we can conclude from that for now. Let's go for Tom's clue. Zena and Ben have an equal number of criminal neighbors. Okay, Ben has 3 neighbors total as well, and he could have 3 criminal neighbors for sure. So we could have both Wally and Salil be criminals. Are we looking at Zoe being an innocent always? Because if Paula is an innocent, these 2 are criminals. And Zoe is gonna be an innocent. And if Paula, sorry about that. And if Paula is a criminal, these 2 are innocents, and Zoe cannot be a criminal because then Zena would have an even number of criminal neighbors. So Zoe is always an innocent, regardless of what these 3 people are. Zoe now tells us that there are as many criminal painters as there are criminal singers. There's only 2 painters on the board, as far as I can see. Yeah, and both of them are in row 4, and both of them are not assigned yet, but one is gonna be a criminal and the other one an innocent for sure. So there's only 1 criminal painter. There has to be as many criminal singers, so there can be only 1 criminal singer. How many singers do we have on the board? Mary and Vera. Okay, so we have only two singers as well, and one of them is already an innocent, so the other one can only be a criminal. So Vera is a criminal, and we don't need Zoe's clue anymore. Now Vera tells us that Eve and her have an equal number of criminal neighbors, and we know that that's one because that's either going to be Paula or Wally, and Eve already has two innocent neighbors here, so the last one can only be criminal. And we don't need Vera's clue anymore. Now, Isaac tells us that exactly 3 of Rob's 5 innocent neighbors also neighbor Lisa. Rob, so we know that Rob has 5 innocent neighbors total, and he has 8 neighbors. So 5 of them have to be innocent. 3 of them have to be neighboring Lisa. And we know that one of them is Mary. There's going to be another one down here, either Paula or Salil, but Keith has to be the third one shared by them. So Keith is for sure an innocent, and we don't need Isaac's clue anymore. Well, I guess we need that because it tells us the total for Rob. So let's leave that clue there. Now Keith tells us there's an odd number of innocents on the edges. How many do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so far we have an even number, so we need at least one more innocent neighbor on the edges. But I don't think that's the clue that we need to look at now. Hank and Zoe have an equal number of criminal neighbors. Yeah. Is there any way for us? Let me try to do this. If Paula is an innocent, both Salil and Wally are criminals, right? We all agree on that. And now Zoe has 2 criminal neighbors. So that works. Ben would have to have 3 criminal neighbors. So all of these people would have to be criminals. But that breaks... Oh, it doesn't. Actually, it doesn't because Xena could be a criminal as well. And Zoe would have 3 criminal neighbors as well. Sorry. But let's try the opposite. Let's try to make Paula an innocent. If Paula criminal, I guess. Because she was an innocent before. So let's try to make Paula criminal. Now both Wally and Salil are innocents, and Xena has only 1 criminal neighbor, which is an odd number. So now we know that Ben has only 1 criminal neighbor as well. It could be Flora. And then both Carrie and Claire could be innocents. And then Hank and Zoe would still have the same number of innocent neighbors. So that's okay. So apparently that's not where I have to look. Right? Can Rob have 5 innocent neighbors in this situation here? Because now Xena is an innocent. And Rob has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rob has 5 innocent neighbors, so that works. But then Lisa would have to be a criminal. Now Hank has 2 criminal neighbors. So that doesn't work. Because Yeah, because if Xena is a criminal now, Rob doesn't have. And if Xena is a criminal and Lisa is an innocent, now Zoe has two criminal neighbors. Yeah, but someone here could be a criminal, so that doesn't break actually. That doesn't break. Alright. Does it break if Paula is an innocent and these two are criminals? Now Rob has three innocent neighbors and both Lisa and Xena have to be innocent. But now Ben has to have three criminal neighbors. So these three would have to be criminals. And now Hank has more criminal neighbors than Zoe. So that does break. Because there's no way for Zoe to have three criminal neighbors. So Paula can't be an innocent. Does Rob have 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Paula can't be an innocent. And because Paula is a criminal, Wally and Sully were innocent. And now we know that Ben only has one criminal neighbor because Xena only has one criminal neighbor. But now Rob has 4 innocent neighbors, so it's a one or the other situation here. Could Xena be a criminal and then Lisa be an innocent? She could, because now Zoe has 2 criminal neighbors and Hank could have a criminal neighbor anywhere here. But if Lisa is a criminal, Xena has to be an innocent, and now Hank has more criminal neighbors than Zoe, and that breaks. So Lisa cannot be a criminal, she has to be an innocent. Alright. We don't need any more clues about Rob's neighbors, about row 4, or about Vera and her neighbors on the edges. Which clues do we need? There's an odd number of innocents on the edges. How many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 neighbors, innocent neighbors on the edges, which is an odd number, which is what we need. But we're gonna need some more. Hank's gonna have to have one more criminal neighbor because him and Zoe have the same number of criminal neighbors. And Ben is gonna have to have one criminal neighbor because him and Xena have the same number of criminal neighbors. So Ben, let's see. Let's check Gary. If Gary is a criminal, all of the other neighbors for Hank are innocents. And for Ben as well, because Ben only has one criminal neighbor. Does that give us odd numbers? An odd number of innocents on the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an odd number, so that could be it. Gary could be a criminal. Could Gary be an innocent? And someone here, let's say Claire, be a criminal. Now Hank has 2 criminal neighbors, so the other ones are gonna be innocents. And now we have 8 innocents on the edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that breaks. But if Flora is an innocent and if Claire is an innocent and Flora a criminal, there has to be another criminal here for Hank to have 2 criminal neighbors. And that will give us 7. innocence on the edges, which is an even number, an odd number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that could work. So we know that Claire couldn't be a criminal. Because if she is, everyone else is innocent. And that breaks the board. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that makes 8 innocents on the edges. So Claire couldn't be in it. Couldn't be a criminal. And now Claire tells us that there are more criminal builders and criminal coders. How many coders do we have? 2 here, plus Olaf. And how many builders do we have? 3 as well. So let's think about this. Let's make Gary a criminal. Now we can't have any... Oh, these 2 are builders, and only one of them is gonna be an innocent. Only one of them is gonna be a criminal, actually. And since there are more criminal builders and criminal coders, and there's only gonna be 1 criminal builder total, there can't be any criminal coders. So Olaf is for sure an innocent. And this is a one or the other, actually. Now Olaf tells us that, I guess I don't need this clue anymore. Olaf tells us there are more innocents than criminals on the edges. How many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 innocents on the edges so far. If Flora is an innocent, Gary has to be a criminal, and now Hank has 2 innocents, 2 criminal neighbors. So Eve has to be an innocent. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 innocents on the edges. That's an odd number. If we switch these around, Gary's an innocent and Flora a criminal, Eve has to be a criminal because Hank still has to have 2 criminal neighbors. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 innocent neighbors. And how many criminals do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as well. So that's the same number. But we have to have more innocents, right? There are more innocent criminals on the edges. So we know that Gary has to be a criminal, Flora has to be an innocent, and Eve has to be our last innocent. And we are done. An evil one that wasn't so evil after all. I was eviler. But that is gonna be it for today. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you played it and how it went for you, if I helped you at all. And I'll be back tomorrow with more Clues by Sam. An easy one next time. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see that. And I'll see you then.